Hi, it's Adam from Reality Manifestation, and within this video, you'll learn a simple but powerful way of how to change yourself and the experiences you have within your life so you can find more empowering meanings and take more empowering action towards your goals and what you actually want to achieve within your life. And also, you'll discover how to get your subconscious mind to help you look for solutions to problems and challenges you may have been facing that you've not been able to find solutions to before. With that said, let's get straight into it. The experiences we have within our lives, or how we interpret them rather, is not down to the actual circumstances or the events that happen themselves, but rather the meaning that we attach to them. So some of you may be thinking, but Adam, what about when a close loved one dies? It can be very sad, traumatic. It can be an absolutely awful experience. Or if someone's had a very painful and traumatic life and they unfortunately die at an earlier age, that can be even more disheartening and painful. Now, I'm not saying these are my personal beliefs. To give you an example, in some cultures this is actually celebrated, because if someone has gone through a tough, painful life or unfortunately gone much earlier than was expected, this is celebrated in some cultures because they believe in having many incarnations and many lives. And for someone who's gone through a painful, traumatic life, it's actually like a badge of honor for their soul, their spirit, for growth. And they'll be rewarded for it with their spiritual growth and development, either within a future lifetime or within the afterlife. To use another example, have you ever had a time when someone has said something either to you directly or about something or someone else, and you was really displeased, or you just didn't like what they said, and you either confronted them about it or you spoke to someone else, and you later find out they actually meant something completely different to what you originally thought that they meant? Or someone forgot to do something that was very important to you, and your initial reaction was to either get angry or upset, but then it turned out they either couldn't do it because they was either ill, or something happened to them within their personal life, or something happened that physically stopped them from being able to do it within the first place. But your first reaction was to get either upset or angry, because the meaning that you attach to it is that they didn't care, or they wasn't listening, or something else similar, and then you later found out it was none of those reasons, and the meaning completely changed, which led you to feeling completely different about it, or even feeling sorry for how you responded to them because of the situations that stopped them from being able to do it within the first place. We're creatures of deletion, and because there's so much stimuli happening all around us, such as the temperature, sounds happening, and it's far too much for our conscious minds to handle, as our conscious mind is only capable of processing and handling so many pieces of information at any given time. And to be able to cope with this, a part of our mind called the reticular activating system is constantly deleting and bringing to our conscious awareness only certain aspects of what's truly happening within an experience, which can lead us to attaching meanings to an event or set of circumstances that are based from experiences and references from the past, because the subconscious mind is always reliving past experiences, so it could literally be filtering out and deleting bits of information that could lead you to realizing that the experience that you're having could mean something completely different if you was to become aware of different aspects of that experience that you're having that you may have initially overlooked, such as someone not taking out a particular task, not realizing or thinking maybe it's because of something that's happened within their lives that stopped them from being able to do so, rather than them not caring, following on from the previous example. Have you ever had an experience with a work assignment, or something similar if you run your own business, something you've done through some form of study, whether at college, university, something you had to solve and figure out, and you thought, I can't do this, I'm not capable, or it's beyond your skill and knowledge, and you later came back in a different frame of mind and you actually realised, I can do this. Give a personal experience. I'm also into game development and programming, and in the early days of me first learning how to do programming, with certain challenges I was like, I can't do this. I've not ever seen how to do this before. I don't think I could ever grasp this. I then later come back to it in a different frame of mind just a few hours later, and I'm like, how did I overlook and not realise that this particular line of code here does this? I've known that for quite a while. And the reason was because based on the state of mind that we're in, which I'm not going to go into right now, it alters what meanings we attach to a situation and also what information our minds will filter out and bring into our conscious awareness. So I already had the capability, but my mind was distorting and not bringing into my conscious awareness the answer that was right in front of me the whole time, purely based on the meaning I was attaching to it, which was initially it was outside of my capability, because our minds are always wanting to prove that we're right. So if you believe and attach a meaning to a situation or set of circumstances, your mind's going to look for more evidence to prove that it's true and distort any information, or delete it rather, that could prove likewise, as you're probably starting to gather can greatly limit you to what you're capable of achieving or finding a more empowering meaning to a situation. So in order to start changing yourself and your experiences of your life, you want to start finding new meanings. And a very powerful and simple way of doing this is by asking yourself questions that will lead your mind to finding new meanings. Our minds work like a computer when it's asked questions. It always has to find an answer. So if you imagine you're typing a question into Google, that it will come up with an answer even if it's a disempowering question or if it's not true. So if you was to ask yourself a question, how can I get people to like or to love me? What is that question presupposing? It's basically saying people don't love or like you. Even if people do, with what I was talking about with how the mind works earlier, it's going to distort bits of information that would prove people do like or love you, and will actually bring into your conscious awareness by distorting and deleting parts of your experience to mean that people don't actually like you or love you, and will find more evidence to prove that. And by asking this same question, which the majority of our questions are completely subconscious, can lead someone to feeling that they're not liked or loved, even if it's not true. So a very useful question to get into the habit of asking yourself is, what else could this mean? As you may find, what your initial reaction to a situation was is not necessarily what it truly does mean, and you might be able to find a much more empowering meaning that leads you to take more empowering actions or to feel much better about the situation or circumstances. And asking questions leads the part of your mind called the reticular activating system to bring to your conscious awareness the answer and solution to problems or the answer to questions that you've been asking. So if you're finding yourself struggling with a particular area of your life or with disempowering beliefs, by asking questions, it will alter your mind to what it's distorting and deleting, and it will start finding new meanings where you'll actually start to find where you used to feel limited, incapable, or was unable to get out of a particular emotional state. Having new meanings and references coming into your conscious awareness due to the questions that you've asked will lead you to having a completely different experience that will lead you to changing your beliefs, how you're viewing a situation, and what actions you will or won't take. So you want to get into the habit of asking empowering questions and removing limiting questions, because to use an analogy, this is like typing into Google something completely different to the answer of what you're wanting to find and expecting Google to give you the answer. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, if you could like it, and also if you haven't already, if you could subscribe. Share this with anyone who you know would benefit from what's been covered within this video, and also comment down below what new empowering questions you're going to start asking yourself, or how you've applied this that's led on to a empowering change within your life. I hope you found this useful, and I shall see you soon.